My name is Derek Antonio Serra. I'm a travel blogger. I started off as a photographer. I went into the film industry, was working in commercials and related film sector. And 5 years ago, my now wife, Akona, and myself decided to sell much of what we owned and to travel the world. So we actually traveled to 16 countries in the last 5 years. That was interrupted by COVID, obviously. Prior to that, I traveled to maybe another 30 odd countries. So I've spent much of my life since the age of about 25 traveling. And we now run travel-related, tourism-related businesses in Cape Town. So this is Saley's. If you enter by the front entrance, they've got a couple of little bungalows right here, and then you head up this sort of narrow path. Our taxi driver tried to come up here, but of course no go. Another bungalow here, but I don't know who stays there. It's very much on the path. Then there's a double story which has 6 rooms. The 6 rooms, and we were originally placed in this little bungalow here, which is really tiny, and the rate was $80 a day. It looks slightly bigger, the ones up there. So we weren't happy, and they moved us to a villa which is kind of around the corner, and for the same rate. So they had a large dining area. Not bad food, but overpriced, of course. And then you've got a high bar area, happy hour now. Hi. And then pool area. You go past the pool and out to a sort of a lounging area that overlooks the sea and the beach. There you have the beach. Right, so we are in our second day here in Matemwe. So we weren't very happy with the very small room that we were given at Saley's, and they've moved us now to this villa which they have around the corner, which is their sort of annex. Quite nice. They're obviously still working on it. It's got a big swimming pool. So this is the replacement room that we got. It's actually not bad as these things go. Aircon, no view, but of course the other one didn't have. We've got a lot of our stuff unpacked already, a bit messy, but yeah, it's not a bad room. Got a little spot there for you to sit as well, and then you go through. Got a very good shower with almost unlimited hot water, which is kind of unusual, because in other places here we've had 5 minutes of shower between the two of us and then the water's cold. And it also has a safe. We're obviously now not right next to the sailies on the beach anymore. We're sort of round the corner. So we're setting off now to go and have breakfast there. I've once again forgotten to bring my hat with. So they've obviously bought this place and they're expanding their operation. Much bigger rooms. Obviously they can offer more luxury because there's space. So I think they're going to gradually spread the operation across the two. We're walking past the little local restaurant, which we will be eating at within the next day or two. So here we are down onto Matemwe beach. Early mornings is always good. As you can see now, the reef is very close here compared to how far away it is in Paji. And we just have a short walk up to the clouds are looking a bit threatening. Looks like it might rain today. This is where the sailies is, so it's basically sort of 150 meters away from the villa. But this is where we had supper last night, which was very nice, and obviously the complimentary breakfast every morning. They do it from I think 7 to 12, which is quite an extended breakfast period. Normally it's like 8 to 10:30 or something like that. Yeah, so today it's low tide here at Matemwe Beach, so we've decided we're going to take a walk out into the shallows. The reef is not that far away. It's a couple of 100 meters away from the shore, which is closer than it is down on the other side in Paji. How cold is the water? Not so bad.
No, it's okay.
So we've put on, let me just swing this around. Yeah. So we've put on these water shoes because we don't want to be walking on any sea urchins. Sea urchins are one of the problems that you have on most islands, and if you step on a sea urchin and it goes into your foot, you're going to have some problems. So yeah, we're just going to wade out. We'll see how far we go. Depends on how deep the water is. I think it's actually deeper than we would hope. So that's our little resort, Sailies, over there. Now the weather's not looking so great, so I don't think we're going to go all the way out to the reef. But our plan is to go on a boat trip out to Mnemba Island. We've been waiting for better weather, but I think, yeah, we might just do it tomorrow because we don't know. You know, every day it's different. So here you have like sandbanks that rise up. I'm going to try and stick to the. It's actually interesting to see what's under the water. This is normally now about a meter higher. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. So these guys are obviously looking for stuff here. I don't know if they find things under the rocks or what they're doing. Let's have a look what's going on. This is just seagrass. But yeah, here you can see the sea urchins. There's one. There's quite a few here. So yeah, so if you step on a sea urchin, it's got a barb that goes into your foot, and it's very difficult to get that barb out. So normally they have to take you to the hospital to cut it out, and it sort of pretty much ruins your vacation. So it's always wise to have, we're obviously looking when we're walking, but you could have a moment where you don't notice when you're walking, and you're going to have problems. Now those guys are out there. I wonder what they're doing. They seem to be. This is where they obviously attach their boats to. It's mostly local people, and they must harvest. They might be harvesting. Yeah, so apparently what they also do here is they harvest like a seagrass or the seaweed. So they actually have like miniature farms that they might have set up here. There's not a whole lot to see here, to be honest. I don't even see a fish. I don't even see a fish. Yeah, this is like quite hectic. You can see the all these sea urchins. So you don't want to be jumping off a boat without looking with bare feet and jump right into a whole nest of sea urchins like this. I'm actually going to get out the. Quite hectic. And you can see there's loads of them here. We're on the beach here in Matemwe. Not the greatest day in terms of weather. You can see a bit overcast, but interestingly enough, all these little boats that we noticed here yesterday, which are the boats that go out on the snorkeling trips, the vast majority of them are gone. So it shows you that people are actually going out on those trips. They're charging from the beach here. They charge $30 a day. I think it's a half a day, to be honest. $30 a person for a half a day. Others offer $25, so it's $25, $30 half day. Just includes fruit and water, so you don't get a meal. If you want to have a meal, then you've got to add $20 a person for a seafood meal. So $90 for two persons to go out to Mnemba Island snorkeling for half a day. One thing you realize when you come to a natural beach where people are not cleaning the beach all the time, but the 5-star resorts, they get people to come out and rake the beach and make it look pristine every day. But this is actually what a natural beach looks like. There's a lot of seagrass in this area, so you see a lot of washed up seagrass as the tide proceeds. A lot of people say, oh no, the beach was dirty. It's not a dirty beach. This is just a natural beach. This is how beaches look. People have got used to the so-called pristine beach because humans have intervened and cleaned away anything plastic, seagrass and anything else that might have washed up. So this is very much a typical natural beach in Zanzibar. We're taking a walk now from our villa through the village of the sort of adjacent village of Matemwe to the central area of Matemwe, where we've heard there are 2 supermarkets. There's our corner walking up front. There's the normal road, pathway, track. It's a much more rural area in Matemwe than in Paji, as you will see. So there's nothing much going on behind the resorts. There's local houses, and the local houses are either built out of a sort of a coral, pieces of coral, the older ones. Is there a shop over there? I don't think so. And then, or they're just built out of blocks. So, yeah, you can see this is very different to the Paji tourist sort of area. And all along here on the beach are fancy resorts. But unfortunately not much support behind them in terms of places that tourists can go, shops, restaurants. None of that infrastructure exists here in Matemwe. Yeah, so that's the main entrance to the Sailors bungalows where we're staying, or where we were delivered yesterday. And then we came this route, this sort of sandy track. This is looking like it's a soccer pitch, which is occupied mainly by goats now. And then here's some little kids, a little bicycle, a donkey cart. You can see this is very, very different to what we saw in in Sailors. The children also aren't friendly. In the other areas they wave and smile. Right. They have a donkey cart, and these houses, you can see they're built out of a kind of a coral type material. Lots of kids. Jambo, jambo. In the well. Yeah, it's the village well. Here's a shop. Anything that grabs the fancy there, corner. Some tomatoes, water. We can get water here on the way back. Yeah, I think it's just this way. What are these? Oh, these are sheep. Ah, yes, a lot of, are they goat or sheep? It looks like, yeah.
Actually didn't realize that other villa is right behind us.
Yeah, so, yeah, we really feel like we're in the rural kind of area here. Oh, there's ducks over there. Yeah, as a photographer, I'd love to come and take photos, but apparently people are quite sensitive about having photos taken. I think some people believe if you take a photo of them, you suck out their soul, or there's something like that. There's a belief, and you've got to bear that in mind. You know, that some people have a belief system different to yours, so you have to respect that. And then if you do approach people and ask them, then there's always that discussion about how much money you're going to pay and stuff like that. So, yeah, often one just doesn't do it. Very interesting to see. Here's a little shop. Yeah, very rural. It's like a fruit. What is this? Yeah, it's mainly fruit and things like that. Watermelon, orange. Yeah, we found the oranges here not to be particularly good. They're very green. I don't know, it's a certain type of orange, but they're not a sweet orange. Yeah, lots of animals around here. So yeah, it's weird because you walk around here, you get these very tiny houses, and then in between you'll have these massive like mansions almost. Now, they must be private homes.
Yeah.
Because it can't be a resort or anything. So you just wonder, like, you know, whose houses are these? This one here is quite lavish. It's quite interesting how they build the roofs, because I can see that there's no window in the eaves of the house. So it's got those sort of areas that stick out to stop rain going in, but there's no window in there. So open into the roof. Now that's the traditional style, it seems, that they make the roofs. It's quite interesting. You can see there, it's just open. And then they don't have glass windows. They just have a sort of a quite a rough gauze over the window, which doesn't seem fine enough to stop mosquitoes from coming in. So you have to have a mosquito net if you only have that rough gauze in place of the window. So most hotels and accommodations have mosquito nets, or they must put something else in front of that gauze. Now we've reached the end of the tar road, which is the kind of main intersection here, and this is a hive of activity. A little shop over there, very famous, the One Store Superette, which is where we're aiming at. I think it's that one. Oh, maybe I'm mistaken, maybe it's further up. Looks small now. It's a tiny shop. Miss Zanzibar, Hakuna. Any stylish clothing for you at Miss Zanzibar? Is this this is the Superette. So we're going to go in here and have a look. Ooh, doesn't look promising with bread. We're after some bread that we can add to our menu. Hi. Making. Oh, we're desperate for a piece of bread. When does the bread come? Do you get everyday bread?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe later on.
I don't know. Okay, we're going to try. We're going to go walking up to the restaurant up at which way? This way? This way? We're going to see. I just want to. I'm making a video on Matemwe for tourists.
Yeah.
So we want to see what you've got. Let's see. In case somebody doesn't want to pay $30 a meal, they can maybe come get something here. Baked beans and bread. Okay. Okay, so no luck with getting some bread. It's always good to have some bread as an emergency backup. So there's some bananas. Oh, there's enough fruit around here. Oh, there the cat's going like hell. Doesn't like foreigners. And then they have bread. Fruit. More fruit. So there's another mini mart. Oh, please, Lord, let there be some bread. But I think we're going in the right direction. Let's see. Biscuits. I think biscuits are going to be the replacement of bread. Let's have a look here. What's in this shop? Hello, hello. It's a little bit better stocked than the other one. But I think I see chips. And then Akona sees earbuds, which is what she's been looking for a while. Oh, they got some yogurt over there. Yeah, so it's got a bit more than the previous one.
This one. Not going to happen again.
Just get the
Like a
Amasi flavor. Let's just find out what the cool drinks cost.
I think I might do this one with strawberry.
Yeah, find out the price.
Yeah. How much is it? 5,000.
Strawberry, thick and creamy, all fresh. You're going to see how much in our money.
I actually want to wrap my head around it.
You don't have bread?
Yes?
Bread.
No.
No bread. Yeah, difficult to find bread here. Right, we carry on. Search for bread continues. No luck so far. So what we've What we've realized after years of traveling is that when you come to places where food is not easily obtainable, and we did find out that Matemwe wasn't going to be the easiest, then we stock up with sort of emergency supplies. So if we don't feel like having a lunch or a supper, or we need to eat something light, then we bring it with, because in the hotel restaurants, and they don't cater for that. So you'll find that a toasted sandwich will cost you $1 less than a chicken curry. So we've got some noodles and a couple of fresh eggs, and we bought some tuna, some soups, cup of soups, which we brought from South Africa, and we also got a tin of dal curry, Heinz dal curry. We found a local shop, and so we would just heat that up. We always have a kettle, you can heat stuff up in, and we'll have that normally with bread. So the bread's quite an important component to bulk it up, otherwise you just end up with the basic thing. But bread here, scarcity. Probably get 10 loaves in a day and it's sold out quick. So anyway, we're taking a walk up to the main circle where there's supposed to be a local restaurant, which is well recommended. And so we're going to see if that's any good. We'll have lunch there, because we've realized now that having lunch is going to be the way to go. Have a big lunch, because at night you don't want to be walking around there. There's very little lighting. You can't walk up and down the beach because it's pitch dark. So then you're forced to eat every time at the restaurant at the hotel. So we'll have lunches, and then we'll top up in the evening with something. And we're normally editing or watch Netflix or whatever. Fortunately, the Wi-Fi has been very good at this new resort, so Netflix on the laptop's good. Okay, so we've walked all the way up to the circle, and it's not looking promising, because these are hardware type stores. There's a liquor store. There's a pharmacy over there, which is surprising. Let's have a look here. There's a place that sells dresses. Another mini mart over there. I think we're going to cross the road. What's this here? Oh no, that's a liquor store. That's a Dala Dala. This Dala Dala is truck based. Some of them are enclosed, but this is a typical sort of open-ended Dala Dala. You put your stuff on the top. Local people driving around here. A fancy private taxi, another one. Those private taxis are all over. Okay, so this is another Dala Dala here. This is a fancy Dala Dala. It's like a coaster, the Toyota coaster, which we find everywhere. Okay, let's not get knocked down. Oh, high speed. Okay, let's go. So you've got a mini mart, which I can't believe will have any bread.
I don't think so.
The mini marts here are like not the same as mini marts that you'll find in other places. This pharmacy's closed down. No, it's minimal. Just a few items. And there's a Spanglish restaurant, and there's a petrol station which does not have a fancy shop attached to it. So I think we've reached the end of the line. So we're going to go back. Let's cross the road here, and then we're going to go back to that other tiny restaurant which comes so well recommended. I never heard of Spanglish, but I'll look on it. I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that's it. No bread today for us. It's got quite a lot. Is it open? Closed.
Oh.
I hope I don't see a bread inside. No, this guy's closed.
But it's coming like a half hour.
Ah, okay. South Africa. Yeah.
If only I'd see a loaf of bread there, I would be a happy
You
person.
see it?
No.
Ah,
Okay, so this one is closed.
one.
Guys, God got tired of sitting there.
I didn't do it.
Let's have a look here. Don't know if anything's going on here. We might be forced to go to
No, but actually they are there.
one-
Cooking
one
there at the
person.
back.
So this is the meal that we ordered here at the local restaurant. The chicken curry is 10,000, and as you can see, quite a lot of crayfish, lobster here in my pasta. That was 18,000. So we just had a very enjoyable meal now at Nakapanda, which is the local restaurant here. So I had a lobster pasta, which was very good, very tasty, and I kind of had the chicken curry. Mine was 18,000, hers was 10,000, 2,000 each for Coca-Cola. So the total bill was 32,000 shillings. On the beachfront, it's 30,000 shillings for the chicken curry. So basically 3 times the price of what they're charging here. And one has to beg the question, like, why is it so expensive? Is it because they're servicing a foreign clientele and they feel they can charge you 3 times what the local guy is charging? Do they have a massive profit margin built in? Well, clearly so. Of course, the problem here is that in order to enjoy these local meals, you have to do a bit of walking, in this case, to find the place. And as you can see, there was one other foreign couple that came here with a tour guide, and they had lobster. They sat in the lobsters here for 30,000 for a lobster. And then on the beach at the local kind of restaurant there, it's about 45,000, and in the hotels, well, it's I don't know, $25-30 per lobster. So massive price differentiation between a local restaurant like this and the captive sort of restaurants that you have on the beachfront. So most people go and stay in a hotel, and they probably eat in the hotel restaurant or maybe next door on either side. And that's as far as afield as they go. And of course the owners of the hotels know this, so that's why they'll charge that European price. Now of course we're not Europeans, we don't earn dollars or euros, we're South Africans, we earn rands, and our rand is 19 rand to the dollar, about 21 rand to the euro. So we don't like to be having to pay what a European pays for Parisian prices on the beach in Zanzibar. And this is an issue, you know, because a lot of South Africans come to Zanzibar, but clearly we are not at all being considered when it comes to these sort of pricing structures at a lot of these hotels and restaurants. So today we're going to try out Villa Kiva, which is 2 hotels away from us on Matemwe Beach. We're going to try them out for lunch. Quite not more fancy than a local place, but it's in the vicinity, and we're trying to give people an idea of what you could eat along this beach. So let's check it out.
You say don't see.
Eh?
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
No, that chair is not so hot.
Because the other chair almost fell on me.
Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so they've got pasta, they've got fish and chips, they've got seafood frito misto, whatever that is, some chicken schnitzel, they've got catch of the day, and then their local stuff is a Zanzibar curry, bean stew with rice, And they've also got pizza. Oh, they've got a seafood pizza here. I wonder what their pizza is like. always dodgy. And then they've got club sandwiches and things like that. So we've ordered a penne, or a sort of a bolognese penne from the sounds of it, and I've ordered the octopus curry. Yeah, so places like this, they are dollar based, so they're charging you a dollar price. The pasta is $13 and the octopus curry is $12. So that would be 30 odd thousand shillings per meal. So this is not an inexpensive place, but it's quite a very upmarket accommodation, and quite a recommended restaurant. Also very nice, very nicely done out. Okay, so our food's arrived. Mine's the octopus curry, and Akona's got the penne with what looks like mince. It's quite nice. So lunch at Villa Kiva, very tasty meal. My portion was pretty nice, good portion. The pasta that Akona had was a smallish bowl, like a pudding bowl size. And it's always a mystery to me, you know, you're paying $13 or whatever for a pasta, and then they give you this like tiny portion. I don't know if they're hoping you to do like 2 or 3 courses, possibly. It's a European trend, but we generally at lunch, we're not going to eat 3 courses. We're going to have one plate. So when you come to these places in Zanzibar that are charging European prices, often you're disappointed because you're getting a fairly ordinary meal. There's nothing sort of exceptional or memorable about what you end up eating. Our most memorable meals thus far have actually been at local restaurants. Our meal yesterday, I had the lobster pasta. My lobster pasta cost half the price of Akona's, and it had lobster in it as opposed to meat, and it was double the portion. So, of course, it wasn't on the beach, it wasn't at a fancy boutique hotel. So, it's always one of those toss-ups, you know. So often you're paying for the view, you're paying for the service and the sort of atmosphere. But when you're traveling, you actually need to get nutritional food into your body as well. So you've got to kind of weigh it up. You can't always eat tasty tidbits. You actually sometimes need a good plate of food. And in our case, we've been in the situation when we've traveled for lengthy periods of time, 6 months at a time, you know, non-stop, or a year non-stop in one case. And we've actually been so desperate for a solid plate of food that we've booked ourselves into, if it would be in a developed country, then into an apartment with a kitchen, where we could actually go and buy food from raw materials from the supermarket and cook it. Or if we in countries where that's not possible, then we'd even book into a private room in a backpacker, because they often have a kitchen. And we'd stay there for 2 or 3 days, and we'd go out to the local market and buy chicken and potatoes and carrots and onions. Want to make a chicken stew, or, you know, something like that. So sometimes your body just needs something quite familiar, and also like a substantial good plate of food, as opposed to sort of like tiny portions, especially, as I say, on this long-term travel situation. So this was a nice meal. For a South African, not good value for money, but, you know, we have to take other factors into consideration in terms of how they've priced themselves here. But it's very interesting to eat the similar meal at one place and then another place, over a period of a week or so. You can do direct comparisons and look at the price structures and that type of thing. Very interesting. But yeah, so not a terrible situation at all, but yeah, there's obviously a context that everything happens in.
And also,
So here we have a traditional, quite primitive dhow, which they've pulled up onto the beach, so you can actually have a pretty good look at it. You can see that it's actually made out of very roughly hewn pieces of wood, and it's quite deep. So this would be for maybe 2 fishermen, and it's an outrigger style. So it's got these big pieces of wood to stop it from tipping over, because it's got quite a deep draft. So yeah, quite nice to see one close up here on the beach of Zanzibar. Yeah, so we're having a nice pina colada here at the happy hour at our little resort, Sally's. They do a happy hour pina colada $9 for 2. So, well, that's still by South African standards. That's pretty much what you'd pay, like standard price. Yeah, we're sitting in the out of the wind. The only problem with this coastline, from about 3-4 o'clock, it gets really, really windy. So that kills any real activity along the beachfront. They have a nice area that you can sit sort of overlooking the sea, but it's pretty uncomfortable sitting out there. So we're sitting in the lounge area now. There's Akona, looking very glamorous. Yeah, so today we took another walk into the village. We had another meal at the local restaurant. Bought 1 or 2 things that we needed, and did boring stuff like washing clothing and hanging it out and that type of thing. So tonight we've ordered a meal here at Sally's, and yeah, the burrito is right over here, and she'll have the fish. Thank you. We've ordered a chicken burrito, and we've ordered a extra large fish. Yeah, that's what I like. Nice big fish there. Thank you.
Please.
Yeah.
And salt.
Fish, and that's my burrito. Needless to say, we'll be sharing this between the two of us. One person won't just be eating that really nice looking fish, will they? Yeah. So the burrito is like $11, and that big fish over there was $18. So we had a white snapper. We ordered the extra large fish because we wanted to share it, and that was $18. It was very nice, and it's actually quite difficult to find white flesh fish along this little coast here, because we've actually been to quite a couple of restaurants around here, and Sally's is the only one that had white snapper. Everyone else has got tuna and mackerel, which is what they call a kingfish, and we don't like that sort of very fatty, dark flesh fish. Fish was very good. The chicken burrito was sadly disappointing. It was about 70% rice, a couple of beans, and then some shredded chicken. No sauce, then just rolled in the burrito. They didn't bake the burrito or put anything. It was bland. So I cut it in half. I doctored my half with tomato sauce and chili sauce, and it was okay. And then Akona took hers and put some chips from our other dish in there, and some salad. So you learn to be to be innovative when you're a traveler. But yeah, it was a filling meal. Was it worth $30? Well, for South African, no. But you have you're eating at the hotel's restaurant. There's no walking around in the dark, stumbling around looking for food at a cheaper price. So it's a convenience thing. And then they don't make terrible food here, but it's patchy. You'll have very good dishes, and then some should, I don't know why they put them on the menu, but anyway. Right, so today we're going to take a snorkeling trip up to Mnemba Island on a small local boat that leaves here from the beach in Matemwe. Always difficult to judge if it's going to be a good day. It was very cloudy this morning, but it seems to be clearing up, and there's literally no wind, so we decided this was a good time to just give it a shot. So hopefully by the time we get to the island it will be fairly clear. We'll have some good color there of fish and water. Good morning. So at the moment we're just maneuvering our way through. It's quite shallow now, so they've got to find their way through the shallows, not bang onto any rocks or whatever underneath. See all the many sea urchins. Some local girls climbing down the cliff. It's very dangerous. And then throwing their little, they're obviously coming down to the beach. Now, it's quite a tortuous route that you have to take to actually get to this island, because you have to go all the way along through the shallows. And then there's obviously a place where they get through the reef. just, it's starting to rain. We've landed on the sandbank. It's going to start raining, babe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to put this back. It's incredible how things change so rapidly in Zanzibar. We now have quite a beautiful day with no clouds in the sky. This morning we went on a snorkeling trip and yeah, it rained. It looked like there would be a thunderstorm. So completely different now, and yeah, quite wild seas. But this is what happens. The wind comes up in the afternoon, and when the wind comes up, then it blows the clouds away, but it also drives up the waves. So basically, yeah, we had quite a nice trip this morning. We were a bit doubtful as to whether we should go or not because of the cloudiness. Then the clouds kind of cleared. We went to Mnemba Island. We snorkeled along the reef. It was okay, the reef. Pretty much damaged by all these, you know, boats. There must be 100 boats a day going out there. Saw quite a bit of fish at the drop-off, little small stripy fish, a couple of colourful fish on the reef itself, and some pipefish. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't compare well to places we've been to, like Fiji and Vanuatu. There you really get amazing snorkeling, also in the Philippines. Yeah, so I can't take photographs along the beachfront because the tides come up so much and be washed away. So I've decided to take a bit of a walk sort of down the alleyway back into the village, and just maybe recap our experiences. We've been in Zanzibar now for 2 weeks, and we're starting to get a kind of a handle on sort of the realities that face not only travelers to Zanzibar, but also the Zanzibarians themselves, because I've made quite an effort to speak to a lot of local people. And it also depends on how you travel, you know. Hakuna and myself travel to countries and we really try to understand and experience the countries as authentically as possible. So we tend to befriend local people, we have meals with local people, we spend time with local people, we walk around the village, we eat local food. We don't immerse ourselves totally and go and live in somebody's house in the village, but we like to leave a country to a feeling that we understand it. And yeah, after a couple of weeks of speaking to people, staying in different places, you kind of get a pretty good idea. So at the end of the day, what did we think of Matemwe? Well, if you're a couple and you're looking for some peace and quiet, and quite a nice tropical beach to walk along hand in hand, then it's possibly one of the better options for you. It was less busy than Paje. We still got bothered by some touts on the beach, but far fewer than anywhere else. But just bear in mind that it's relatively isolated, so you're either going to eat at your hotel or you're going to eat at a restaurant up and down the beach from your hotel. I don't think many people are going to go to the trouble of walking through the village to go and find Nakapunda, a local restaurant like we did. There's also nothing really to find in supermarkets that you might need. So you're pretty isolated. After about 4 p.m. in the afternoon, obviously there's not much, there's wind on the beach, and then the tide comes up. So there's not much activity on the beach later on in the afternoon, definitely not in the evening, it's pitch dark. So it's more an isolated type of area, quieter area, which might suit many people. So if that's what you're looking for, then Matemwe and that whole stretch of beach up and down the coast might be for you. It's more like the real Zanzibar, in my opinion, as compared to Nungwi and